Hello and welcome to today's video. We're covering the bot laners, AD carries of T1 and BLG as a preview for Worlds 2024 Finals. Elk and Guma. Elk coming into this tournament, one of the best, if not the best AD carry in the world in some people's eyes. And then Guma, one of the best at Worlds of all time. Some people put him alongside Bang. I necessarily would not do that, but some people took issue with me not putting him alongside Bang, which is interesting. Or, you know, in the hierarchy of all-time greats, Ruler, Uzi, Deft, I mean, T1 fans are just probably shaking, listening to me saying, hey, he's not those guys. But neither here nor there. He is a top 5 AD carry in the world. He's kind of proven that he is one step above Gala and Light, etc. at this event. Taking on more of a carry-oriented role than he did the last couple years. You know, one of those things where I see him more. When T1 play at their best, Zeus is seen as a bigger carry, in my opinion, than Guma is. Guma playing more weak side, playing less resources, doing a glorified Ghost performance. In that, you know, Ghost did a very good job at doing his job with DK, of course. And people take issue with me even putting them in the same boat. But at the same time, I do think Guma is much better than Ghost, but played a similar role as Ghost at these events. And I mean, that is what it is. I don't think that's all that deniable. At this event, though, Guma's taken on a bigger role as a carry. 30% of the team's damage, as we'll talk about, and that is something significant. I have somebody in my comment section saying damage share doesn't necessarily always mean it's a good thing. Yeah, for the rest of the team, I'd say so. Yeah, I would. So KDA, Guma, high KDA, not a big shock, 6.5. You may say, hey, it's 9.3 on LOL Esports. He's tied in pick'ems. My KDA counts assists as half. I don't count assists as much as kills, but still, nevertheless, double what Elk has. KP, very similar, around 70%, over 2/3 of the kills. So these guys involved with their teams, kills nearly the same. CS per minute, around 10. Guma over 10, which is, of course, what we're shooting for. So he is getting a lot of resources. A lot of CS tomorrow. I mean, On and Carria. I don't know if I'll put CS on the board. It's really irrelevant with supports, but if maybe it's possible that On's just eating more CS than Carria is, and that's offsetting it. I don't know. Return on investment, though, and we've seen that throughout this series, that BLG deal a lot more damage than T1, just outright. You know, 1.79 ROI versus 1.4. That's a big difference. I mean, if we look at the entire season, Elk's 1.79, you know, compared to everybody else that played and things like that, that's going to be in the higher range of things. But Guma at 1.44 would be probably in the bottom half. That's just playing a lot slower League of Legends, a different brand of League of Legends than BLG. BLG playing very aggressive. I say it every video, but if this is the first one you're watching, they're probably averaging 20 kills a game, and T1 simply aren't. At least maybe kills per minute, maybe it's a lot more separated than kills per game outright. But either way, that's a thing. In terms of vision efficiency, we look here. Ashe is the most played. I actually should have went over this first like I did the other videos. But we're going to do it at the end now because I screwed up. But regardless, vision efficiency. Guma is higher than Elk, but we have to keep in mind this here. Ashe is Guma's most played, where it's not Elk's. Ashe is going to boost your vision efficiency tremendously. So that's a thing. Gold difference. Elk, not that up far ahead. Wonder what On's number will be tomorrow, and we maybe can combine them in tomorrow's video to see how well BLG's duo is doing against other duos. But Guma, 300 gold on average, so every game he's going even. There's a game he's going up 600 gold. XP, very similar, both above 100 and under 200. Solo kills, Elk does have 3 in 15 games. Guma has none. I mean, solo kills are what they are. Champions played, Elk, 8 and 15, right? Yes, 8 and 15. Guma, 7 and 12, so pretty similar, 0.53, 0.58 champions per game, so not a vast difference in champion pool and champion usage. Very I mean, actually very different than yesterday, where we saw that Knight played twice as many champions as Faker, and in my opinion, that was a big difference. Damage share and gold share, a lot closer than you would expect going into this event. Like I started this video, Guma has taken on a role at this event that was different than the last two, and it's shown in stats. This whole Yeah, but he carried. I don't care what we think if the numbers don't actually back it up. Like we can say that the Earth is the center of the solar system, and then there's nothing to back it up. So yeah, the Earth is flat. Yeah, there's no numbers to back that up. So let's just, you can think something, but unless you have numbers to support a thought, then it's just a thought. And I mean, hell, I'm not gonna parse through thoughts that don't have any numbers to back them up. But either way, I am surprised that Guma has 30% of the team's damage. That's normally not a Guma thing at these events. So that is something to note. And gold, Guma slightly more than Elk, but not all that big of a difference. But this number here tells us that Elk is dealing more damage than Guma, not only in share, but just outright in general. And it's shown. I mean, I think Elk has over 800 DPM and Guma like 640, which is a big difference. Do the math. 170 DPM multiplied by 40 minutes, 30 minutes. It's sizable. There's a difference. Now, let's look at what I should have started this video with. So, opponents. Who did these guys play against? Somebody commented in yesterday's video about who Faker and Knight played against. That was on the board. So, whatever. But either way, Elk played Viper and Light for the bulk of the games. Hansama, Betty, Guma, Gala, and Supa. Gumayusi played Pays and Jackie Love 8 of 12 games. Hansama twice, and then Cheeton and Elk. Champs played. So, some differences here. A lot of similarities, but a couple differences. So, Elk played Kaisa the most, followed by Jin, MF, Zaya, Ezreal, Ashe, Varus, Ziggs. Guma, Ashe the most, followed by Jin, Caitlyn, Zaya, Draven, Kalista, Varus. So, we have Varus, similar. Zaya, Jin, and Ashe. But Jin up here for both, right? So Jin, both teams must feel good about Jin, at least in terms of priority. They've picked it more often than other champions on their, in their pools. But some differences, like Elk was willing to play Ezreal and Guma willing to play Caitlyn and Draven. So, MF being played by Elk. Guma not playing MF. So we'll see if these champions do rear their head tomorrow. If, will they be contested, or are they going to just take their sides of the matchups? Now, what's banned? Well, BLG face more AD carry bans. Sorry, both teams face 3 AD carry bans on, their 6 most banned champions both face 3 AD carry bans. But BLG do ban more AD carries than T1. So, BLG have banned Ashe and Kalista quite a bit. T1 ban a lot of Smolder, which is interesting because Ashe and Kalista, Ashe support is not nearly as common as it used to be, but Smolder is certainly a flex, so that's something to think about, that T1 maybe not necessarily worried about banning 80 carries as much. Now, in terms of what's against, what is being banned against them? Well, oppositions look at Elk and Guma and say, let's whittle down these champion pools. So, Ashe and Kalista are banned against both teams. So although Elk has not played Kalista at this tournament, there is he may very well want to play it because they're banning it, so they don't want to play against it really, and it's being banned against them. So one might wonder if Kalista is very high priority for this team, or they can't play it, but the opposition seems to think they can, if you will, at this event. But the difference is Kaisa bans banned against Elk, Kalista. Kaisa bans against Elk, Zaya bans against Guma. That's the difference in the ban phase. So there are some differences between these two players. Of course, they're elite. Guma's won Worlds last year and was a runner-up the year before. Elk has played excellent League of Legends. He toiled away on Ultra Prime, didn't just join T1 and, of course, get trained by a player that's very underrated in Teddy in terms of career. And Guma goes on to have his own and make his own name for himself. But Elk has done a great job throughout his career. I think Elk is certainly a match for Guma if not better than Guma over the aggregate. I mean, hell, even if T1 win this weekend, I'm never going to ignore the previous 80 games of a season for what happened in one weekend. I mean, that's ridiculous. So that is what it is. But, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. These guys are taking on the bulk of the team's damage, the bulk of the team's gold. So they need to be effective, and either the game's going to slow down, where Elk isn't going to deal as much DPM, or Guma's going to have to deal more to keep up with each other. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.